This podcast of the Pat Campbell Show is powered by the law offices of John M. Dunn.
Pat Campbell Show here on Talk Radio 1170, where Tulsa comes to talk. If you're just joining us, wondering what the topic of the day is, it has to do with Congressman Markwayne Mullin, who released a YouTube video yesterday, 11-minute YouTube video that was moderated by Eddie Huff. It featured Markwayne Mullin and his wife. And in that video, he explained why he was going to be breaking his term limit pledge or promise to his constituents in the 2nd District and announcing that he will be seeking a 4th term. Now, we just got done talking with Markwayne Mullin. I want to bring this up again because somebody sent this my way this morning. You know, we've had members of Congress here in Oklahoma that have term limited themselves, and they honored that pledge. We've had others who term limited themselves and didn't honor the pledge. J.C. Watts comes to mind. In fact, he spoke in Muskogee at a GOP event back in 2010, and during the speech he said that his biggest regret from his time in politics was when he was seduced by the applause and broke his term limits pledge. He went on to say that Watts said that he had made a pledge before God and his constituents, and when he broke it, that 4th term became his worst time in office politically and with his family. Now, for more reaction this morning, we've got former Senator Tom Coburn, who was in studio with me a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about this very issue. Now it's official. Markwayne Mullin is seeking a 4th term. Dr. Coburn, welcome back to the Pat Campbell Show.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Your thoughts, sir?
Say that again. I didn't hear.
I said your thoughts.
Well, I think it's sad for Oklahoma, and I think it's sad for Markwayne Mullin. You know, you can change your mind, and that's honorable. But if you change your mind on term limits, what you do is you say, I won't run, I'll honor my term limits, and then I'll come back the next time and run again. You know, I'm reminded of Phil Gramm, the congressman from Texas.
Yeah.
Who ran as a Democrat, decided to change his party, but he didn't just change his party. He resigned from Congress, then changed his party and ran again. So integrity counts. And you know, here's the thing that worries me is some of the other things Markwayne has said recently tells me he's drank the Kool-Aid. When he tells people in Jay, Oklahoma, that we don't pay a salary, when he uses his business advertising to coerce radio stations, when he tells us that he can not keep his word and nothing changes, it's just sad for us. Because what it tells us is that the arrogance of power has now infected his thinking. And when a man's word doesn't mean anything, nothing else matters. And so for me, I think it's just really sad.
Why? Let me ask you a question here. Why is that so important? You know, there used to be a day and an age when a man's word was his bond. You didn't need a piece of paper; a handshake did it. Those days seem to be gone. We see people break their word all the time. You know,
but that's a decline in the morals of our country, Pat.
Okay.
It's a character trait to keep your word.
Mm-hmm.
That's a character trait. That tells us something about the inner person. And when you're representing 600,000 or 700,000 people, and you've told them one thing and you do another, if you can't believe him on term limits, what else can you believe him on? Mm-hmm. And what can't you believe him on? And so the fact is Washington impacts everybody. I spent 16 years up there, and to me, I just think Markwayne's a nice young man. But they have sold him on the fact that he's a hot dog, and he now believes it. And so his obligation really is to Washington, believing what Washington tells him rather than believing what he's told Oklahomans. And so, you know, it's just sad. And he's going to have a rigorous challenge. Oklahomans believe that your word's your bond. Mm-hmm. You know, in Matthews it says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And you can't claim a spiritual reference for lying or breaking your word and then turn around and the word not be consistent. So, you know, it's just sad for us.
You know, I live in District 1, but you know District 2 better than most. Is this going to make a difference in District 2?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you tell a guy that's farmed his whole time that if you vote for me, I'm going to only be there 6 years and I'll come home, and then you don't. Mm-hmm. They're not going to vote for you again. You tell a school superintendent, I'm going to do this, and then don't. Mm-hmm. They're not going to vote for you again. You know, the fact is here it gets down to the real problem. He actually believes it doesn't matter. And that's part of the Washington Kool-Aid that he's drunk. And so, you know, again, like I say, you can change your mind, mm-hmm. but do the honorable thing associated with it. Don't run, lay out a term, and then run again. And, you know, my other problem is if you look at voting records and you look at legislative accomplishments, not impressive.
I was going to ask him this morning what he's accomplished in the first 3 terms, but that's always a stickler. I mean, I've had people who've been in for 5 terms who had trouble pointing to any legislation.
Ask him any major bill he's passed.
Yeah. That
he's authored and passed. You know, he's believing what the leadership team around Paul Ryan's telling him, and he's believing what his own staff's telling him, mm-hmm. and that's the allure of Washington. You have people working for you whose jobs depend on you still being there. Mm-hmm. So what are they going to tell you? You're great. You know, I want to keep my job, so therefore I'm going to tell the congressman he's great. My rule in my office is you have an obligation to tell me when you think I'm arrogant, stupid, and wrong. And they did. And my staff would have left had I broken my term limits pledge.
You took the term limits pledge when you were in the House. And
I did it in the Senate too.
In the Senate too. You actually didn't even complete your term in the Senate.
No, I decided you can't fix our problems there.
Right.
That's why I'm a big convention of the states guy.
Yeah.
That's how we fix the problems of our country. Mm-hmm. But listen, it's just so important that our leaders in a position of congressman reestablish integrity in terms of honesty. And you know, we're not seeing that, and that's sad.
You know yourself that he's got a built-in advantage as an incumbent. I can't remember what it was, something like 96, 97%. The money's going to be behind him. He's got the name recognition in District 2. If somebody's going to unseat him, it's going to have to be somebody that's almost like Jim Bridenstine or Bridenstine-like, and somebody who's actually got some financial backing and some name recognition. Is there anybody out there like that?
Yeah, there is. Darren Johnson. He's good. Look, he got 36% with less than $100,000 last time. So, you know, Mark's going to raise a ton of money and spend a ton of money. He's going to use his business to advertise his name. He's going to do all these things. But when it comes down, Oklahomans are going to say truth matters, integrity matters, character matters. And this is an issue of character and integrity.
I want to play a clip from when you were on the show last. David, play the short clip. Yeah, I think it's 36 seconds. Dr. Coburn, play that for us, please.
We've had enough lying to us from Washington. This is a character flaw that says, I told you one thing, but now that I've drank the Kool-Aid, mm-hmm. I believe something different. And, oh, by the way, I'm empowered as an incumbent, so you probably have a tough time beating me. We're gonna beat Markwayne if he runs again. Because the one thing we need is trust in Washington. And if somebody tells you something and then changes their mind on an issue as critical as limiting your terms, then you need to be challenged.
You say you're going to defeat him. What are you prepared to do?
I'm prepared to go out and work for the best viable candidate, and I think that's Darren Johnson, and help him raise money and put forward it's a real issue. Does truth matter? Mm-hmm. And I think Oklahomans believe it does. Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to say?
No, I just, again, I'm sad for us. I'm sad for Markwayne Mullin. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be happy. He's going to believe what they tell him in Washington, but in the long run, he's not going to be happy because he didn't keep his word. You know, why do you think we get that little acidy, upset stomach when we know we've done something wrong? Mm-hmm. That's God telling us, hey, man, you're on the wrong path. Mm. And, and if he doesn't have that, then the arrogance is so great, I mean, that's what happens in Washington. I mean, we see it every day. Look at the stupid things that are said from Washington. Like, you don't pay my salary?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a break. Why would you say that? Well, because you believe it, because you're above us. You're better than us. The same rules don't apply to you. Our big problem in our country is we don't trust Washington, and Markwayne just added to it. You can't trust them because they actually like Washington more than they like us.
Senator Coburn, we thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Bye.
All right. Senator Tom Coburn weighing in on the announcement that Markwayne Mullin is going to be seeking a fourth term, despite the term limit pledge he made several years ago.
Log on to 1170kfaq.com to check out all of Pat Campbell's podcasts, powered by the law offices of John M. Dunn.